हरि ओम। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Parvati Pataye, Har Har Mahadev. Hari Om, Hari Om. So Bhagwan tells Arjuna that Karma Yoga is very important. Karma is very important. By following the path of karma only, you will gain knowledge. And thereafter you can meditate and gain that abidance in that knowledge. This cannot happen without first becoming a karma yogi. So we have to perform our duties, fulfill all our duties as ordained by the scriptures, by our Vedas. And these duties should be done with Ishvara Arpana Bhavana, that is called Yajna Bhavana. The whole world is created with Yajna Bhavana. The whole world is expression of that Vaishvanara, and Vaishvanara himself is expression of Hiranyagarbha, who is the expression of Ishvara, who is the expression of Brahma. So everything is ultimately Brahma only, but now we are unaware of our own supreme nature, so we have to act, we have to work, we have to follow the path of Karma Yoga. So through Karma Yoga, Bhagavan says, you will attain moksha ultimately by gaining that knowledge. So Bhagavan also described the beautiful Jagat Chakra, which is also sustained by Yajna. So Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yajne Pratishtitam. And one who doesn't follow, doesn't do karma, doesn't keep the world chakra moving, Bhagavan says his life is sinful and mogham partha sajivati, he is just living in a wasteful way, uselessly surviving. So we have to, everyone have to perform karma. But that doesn't mean we are stuck with this karma. This karma, if done as per the guidance of the scriptures, will take us towards our ultimate goal of self-realization. And once we realize ourselves, we will become free of karma. Karma will not bind us. There will not remain any duty. Bhagavan says, one who is Atmaratihi, Atmatruptaha, Atmannevacha Santushtaha, Tasya Karyam na Vidyate. One who revels in his self, one who is satisfied in his self, one who is fully content in his self, that person doesn't have any more duties left. There doesn't remain anything more to be achieved by that person. If he does something, there is nothing to gain by doing and nothing to lose by not doing, nor does it depend on any person, nor on any object, nor on any organization or any system. That person is fully free, liberated. Therefore, to reach this state of liberation, Bhagavan says, hey Arjuna, you act with asangata, do all your duties. Tasmad asaktas satatam karyam karma samachara, do your karyam karma, niyata karma. Because asakto yacharam karma paramapnoti purushaha, by doing asakta karma without attachment, person will attain that supreme goal of moksha. And Bhagavan gives example of Janak, Raja Janak and so many other kings of the past. They also followed the path of Karma Yoga and attained moksha. And some of them continued doing karma even after attaining moksha for loka sangraha, for the welfare of the whole world, to integrate the society, to bless the world. They continued doing karma for loka sangraha. Because people generally observe how their ideal, their model, how they work, how they live, and they also tend to imitate. So yad yad acharati shreshtaha tattadeve itaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. So the people, they observe how their elders live, how their seniors they behave, how their parents behave, how the wise person behaves, how an enlightened person behaves, and accordingly they also start behaving, they also start acting in the same way. So in order to guide the world, the Mahatma, the enlightened person, also works. They also work. For them it is not required for them to work, but they work. See, for example, a mother knows how to walk, but a little child is there who is learning to walk. The mother will hold the hands of the child, face the child, and start walking. In a reverse gear, she starts walking, holding the child, taking many tiny steps. She also walks. It is not required for her to walk, but she is doing that so that the child learns to walk. Similarly, an enlightened person works in this world for loka sangraha. So Bhagavan tells Arjuna, hey Arjuna, if you think you are enlightened, then you can work for loka sangraha. And even if you are not enlightened, and if you don't want to gain anything from this world, nor you have anything to lose in this world, then with selfless attitude, work for the welfare of the world, dedicating all your actions to Ishvara, you will progress and ultimately reach your destination. Bhagavan gave example of Janak Maharaj and so many other kings of the past. But then now, Bhagavan is giving his own example. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Sakshat Brahma, who had taken avatar, Bhagavan as a human being, Bhagavan is giving his own example now, that though I am enlightened, but still I am working in this world. He says in verse number 22, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. Bhagavan Shri Krishna is revealing his identity a little bit here, but in the 4th chapter he will reveal his identity to Arjuna. Bhagavan reveals himself as Ishvara. He tells in the 4th chapter that I am the Lord of this entire creation. Ajopi san navvyatma bhutanam ishvaropi san. I am Ajaha, Avyayaha, and Bhutanam Ishvaraha. So that Ishvara who had taken avatar as Krishna, he is saying कि हे पार्थ, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. That I don't have any kartavya karma. Kartavya means that which one has to do. One is ordained to do. By the Shastras, one is ordained to do. By the society, one is ordained to do. One is helpless to do. One has to do. Bhagavan says, I don't have such things. Name partha, he partha, name asti kartavyam. I don't have any kartavya in this world. Not only in this world, but he says in all the three worlds. In the higher world, in this world, in the lower world, Trishu Lokeshu, in the heavens, in the hell, in between all the worlds, Bhagavan says, I don't have any duties. I am not bound. See all these other devtas, they are bound by their duties. They have to do. All those who are ignorant, all those who are in this samsara, all of us are bound by kartavya karma. We have to do to keep this world moving and to sustain ourselves and to follow the path of dharma. We have to keep working. But Bhagavan says, कि नमे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यम त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचना. In all the three worlds, I don't have anything to do. There is nothing which I have to gain through work. There is nothing which I will lose by not doing any work. And I don't depend on anyone or anything for my existence. I don't have any duties left. But still, that is important. Bhagavan still, again further he says, कि न अनवाप्तम अवाप्तव्यम varta eva cha karmani. Bhagavan says there is nothing which has to be attained by me. There are no objects, or there is no state, or there is nothing which I have not obtained, which I have to obtain, which I have to acquire. Nothing is there. Na anavaptam avaptavyam. There is nothing which is anavaptam, which is not obtained, which I have to obtain. So there is no compulsion on me, but still Bhagavan says, Varta eva cha karmani. I continue working. Bhagavan as Ishvara, Bhagavan as avatar of Ishvara, continues to work for Loka Sangraha, to bless the world. Bhagavan works with compassion out of his supreme love, not because of any compulsion. See, even when we do our karma or we offer something to Bhagavan and all, there is no compulsion on Bhagavan's part. Later on he will say that I don't take anybody's punya also and I don't take anybody's papa also. I am not bound to this world. Bhagavan also says that my karma don't bind me. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha. In the 4th chapter, Bhagavan will tell us कि all this karma, though I am continuously working, these karmas don't bind me. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha. I don't have any attachment to any results of action. Though I appear to be doing, but really speaking, in my supreme nature, I am not doing anything. Tasya kartaram apimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. So Bhagavan's nature is totally different, supreme. So Bhagwan is also Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupaha. See, Ishvara is Nitya Buddha, always enlightened. Not that he was ignorant and became enlightened, like the Jivas. Bhagwan is always enlightened, Nitya Buddha, Nitya Shuddha, always pure, never becomes impure. No impurities of the world or anything touches Bhagwan. Ever pure, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta, ever free. Bhagwan is ever free, ever liberated, eternally Jivan Mukta. But still, Bhagwan acts in this world, appears to act in this world for the sake of all the beings. See again, little bit. That from that Bhagwan Ishvara is not different from Brahma. Brahma itself is called Ishvara. Brahma, along with his power of Maya or Prakriti, is called Ishvara. As Ishvara, Brahma alone, as Ishvara, is the one from whom the world comes into existence, the world remains, is sustained, and world again dissolves into that Ishvara. But when Bhagwan takes the sankalpa of projecting the world, as I had mentioned before, Brahmaji is projected first. Brahmaji is born first. Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is born first. And thereafter, Hiranyagarbha, with his own sankalpa and his own thinking, projects Vaishvanara. And Vaishvanara projects the whole world. So the whole world is Vaishvanara. And the whole Vaishvanara is in the mind of Hiranyagarbha. And Hiranyagarbha exists potentially in Ishvara. And Ishvara is Sakshat Brahma. So when we work in this waking world, it is due to the blessings of Vaishvanara. Our Sukshma Sharir functions in the waking as well as in the dream by the blessings of Hiranyagarbha. But when we go into deep sleep state, we become one with Ishvara. Ishvara blesses us with deep sleep, and Ishvara wakes us up again from deep sleep into dream and waking. Ishvara is unmanifest, he is a Vyakta, he is not different from Brahma. So through Ishvara's blessings only, the world comes into existence. Hiranyagarbha, Vaishvanara, all the Devtas come into existence. All of them, they do respective work because of the blessings of Ishvara only. So through Ishvara's blessings, all beings, they function. But if Ishvara doesn't bless, if Ishvara doesn't work, then the whole world will collapse. That's what now Bhagwan says in the next two verses. Verse number 23, Bhagwan says, Yadi yaham navarteyam jatu karmanyatandritaha mama vartmanu vartante manushah partha sarvashah Bhagavan says, Yadi hi aham na varteyam. If I don't work, if I don't work as Krishna, if I don't work as Ishvara, if I don't work as Hiranyagarbha, if I don't work as Vaishvanara, and here Bhagavan is directly talking as Krishna, everyone is seeing Bhagavan, Krishna. So he says, Yadi hi aham na varteyam, if I don't work, jatu, certainly, karmani atandritaha, in all different types of activities, as my duty as a human being, born in a particular family, born in a particular lineage, having a particular gender and having a particular age. So, if I don't work, do my duty based on all this, atandritaha, without getting lazy, without becoming lazy, with full attention, with full concentration, with full dedication, if I don't work, then what will happen? Nothing will happen to me. Bhagavan says, I am not bound to action. But if I don't work, then the world will collapse. He says, Mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. That people will start imitating me. Mama vartmanu vartante manushyaha. All human beings observing me, they will also start imitating me. They will also start doing as I am doing. If I am not working, they will also drop all their work. Partha sarvashaha, in all ways, they will just imitate, and if they imitate me, they will certainly perish. See, Bhagwan as Bhagwan, he continuously works. He had also expressed his power and his Aishwarya as Shri Krishna. Bhagwan lifted the Govardhan Parvat. Ordinary jiva cannot imitate that. We can't lift Govardhan Parvat. Bhagwan danced on Kaliya, that Sarpa. Ordinary person can't do it. Bhagwan killed that Trinavarta and Putana and Shakatasura and Kamsa, and all ordinary people cannot do that. Bhagwan expressed his Aishwarya also as Krishna, but Bhagwan also led a very simple life following the human values. And if he were to drop all his work, not do anything, just sit at one place doing nothing, then people will start imitating Bhagwan Krishna, and the whole structure of this society will collapse. See, human society is surviving because of work. All of us, we work together. All of us express our our talents, our abilities through our work, and the human society, it survives. Though in the modern times, in this Kali Yuga, we are not doing our duties properly. We are harming the nature, we are harming other beings, we are not doing our duty towards the Devatas, towards the Rishi Munis. The whole thing has gone little haywire, because we have wrong people as our role model in our life. We have people who are useless as our role models. We are trained and educated in the society to have false gods and false images and false role models in our life, whom we try to imitate and whom we try to follow blindly. In our tradition, even in the recent history, the parents is to teach children higher values by telling stories of great people from our own spiritual literature, from Ramayana, from Mahabharata, from Puranas. They is to tell the stories so that they will have proper ideal in their life. In Maharashtra, great king Shivaji Maharaj, as a child, his mother is to tell him stories from Ramayana, from Mahabharata, from Puranas. And Shivaji Maharaj, as a young boy, he was so impressed by the story of Sri Ram that he also decided that I should also follow the teachings of Sri Ram. I should also walk on the path shown by Sri Ram. And he was so much impressed that he lived that higher values in his life. He is known to be a very good king, a very dharmic king. He was guided by his teacher Samartha Ramdas Swamiji also. But Shivaji was an ideal king. How he reached that ideal? Because he had an ideal in front of him. It was presented to him by his parents. If we want to really bless our children, if we want to have their welfare in our heart, if we want to think of their welfare, then we should give them good values by giving them good ideals in life. Present good model in front of them of our great Devatas, even Hanumanji. Little children, when they listen to the stories of Hanumanji, they feel so inspired. If you read the Sundarkand and if you read the nature of Hanumanji, you will feel inspired. A very great physical strength he had, but great goodness of his heart, so gentle, so kind, so humble, and very wise, very intelligent, working together for the welfare of the society, protecting the weak, destroying those who are adharmic. Such a great ideal in our life. If we don't have, when we don't have positive ideals, then we pick up whatever comes in front of us through the movies, through the internet, through the publicity and propaganda. Whatever ideals come in front of us, we hold them and try to consciously or unconsciously imitate them. We follow them. You can do some experiment on yourself. Just sit quietly and introspect and find out right from your childhood till now, who are those people who had influenced you, inspired you, made you become like them, and you will find a list of all the ideals in your life. If you are lucky, those people will be positive and good. Otherwise, we might have negative ideals. Even after seeing, sometimes people see a movie or see this, and they hold on to a negative ideal. They start liking the negative patra. After listening to old Ramayana, people think that, oh, I should become like Ravan. Yeah, it's so powerful in this and that. So one should hold on to positive ideals in life. Then automatically we become transformed. That ideal will make us like that. That is the power of having an ideal in life. It's one of the most beautiful sadhana. That is the power of this satsang. That person need not be right in front of us, but when we read the charitra of such a person, when we think of that person, when we listen about that person, automatically our internal system undergoes transformation. We start moving towards this ideal. Knowingly, unknowingly, we start going towards that, becoming like that ideal. That is the beauty. So here Bhagwan Krishna also is presenting himself as an ideal in this world. In fact, he is ideal, he is Sakshat Ishvara. Bhagwan says, if I don't work, though I don't have anything to gain or lose by working or not working, but if I don't work, then people will start imitating me and the whole society will collapse. So that will not be good. Further, he says, Utsideyurime lokaha na kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyamimah prajaha. Bhagavan says, Utsideyurime lokaha. Not only this few people in this world, Bhagavan says the entire world will get destroyed. Utside yuhu, vinashye yuhu. Or everything will get destroyed. Ime lokaha, the whole world, this whole Prithvi, as well as the other world also. Na kuryam karma chedaham, if I don't work, if I don't do my work. I am not bound. I am not, there is no compulsion. See, all ignorant people, jivas, they work out of compulsion. Helplessly they have to work. Also, they need, all of us, we need this world, we need other beings, we need work to progress on our path to gain moksha. So for the blessings of all the jivas, Bhagwan manifests this world and Bhagwan does his work. Directly also and indirectly also through Hiranyagarbha, through Vaishvanara, through all the Devatas, through everyone, Bhagwan alone, Bhagwan's power and Bhagwan's Samarthya alone is there working in everyone. So Bhagwan says, Na utside yurime lokaha na kuryam karma chedaham. If I don't work, then the whole world will get destroyed. It will perish. It will not survive. And sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam imah praja. And there will be total admixture of caste and confusion will happen in the society. Sankara, Varna Sankara, all confusion will happen in this society. There will not be proper structure. People will not know what type of work they have to do, what they should do, what they should not do. There will be chaos. People will start doing somebody else's work. So that person will be left jobless. That person will remain unemployed. And that is what is slowly happening in our country also, which was run very systematically in the good old days through the Varnashrama Dharma. But because of this admixture and confusion, people, they don't know what type of work they have to do. So generally one person capable of doing something, he does it. He doesn't do what he is meant to be doing, and it comes in the way of other person's work. People become jobless. People become unemployed. In the good old days, there was security of work for all different types of people. People were born to do a particular type of work and they used to do it and they used to feel secure and they used to get proper respect also in the society. Everything was going on fine. But then, because of this confusion, there is a total admixture of Varna and Ashrama, and this Sankara, it's called Varna Sankara. So Bhagavan says, if I don't work, this Varna Sankara will happen. There will be total chaos in the society. The whole structure will collapse. So Sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam ima praja. And I will become the cause for destruction of all beings. I will be the cause for destruction of all beings. Therefore, I have to work. See, Bhagwan works as Ishvara. He projects the world, sustains the world, dissolves the world. Bhagwan works as Hiranyagarbha. He controls and guides all the Sukshma Sharir. Bhagwan works as Vaishvanara, controlling and guiding the waking world. Bhagwan is constantly working to keep the balance of this world. And whenever there is disturbance, Bhagwan also takes avatar to set things right. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Bhagwan says, I take avatar regularly to set things right and to again establish dharma. So if I don't do all this work, the whole structure will collapse. At present, we look at this world, everything is happening according to cosmic law. There is law and order which is in a subtle way present in everything. If Bhagwan withdraws from this, the whole thing will collapse within seconds. So, Sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam imah prajah. So, Bhagwan gives his own example. He says that, oh Arjuna, look at me. As Krishna, I am continuously working. Later on, he will reveal himself as Ishvara. But here he is presenting himself that I am continuously working. And there were great enlightened people in the past who also continuously worked for the welfare of the world. So you too work. And further he gives instruction. Bhagwan tells even the enlightened person, Bhagwan gives this advice in the following verse. In the following verses, gives advice to enlightened people who have become free of all their duties, who have become free of all their work. Bhagwan says that even when one gains enlightenment, he says one should continue to work. Bhagwan says, Sakta vidvans, Sakta karmanya vidvamsah yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvans tatha saktah chikirshurloka sangraham. Bhagwan says that Sakta karmani avidvamsah yatha kurvanti bharata. Hey Bharata, hey Arjuna. Bharata means one who is born in the great Bharatavamsha. Or Bharata also is in general means one who revels in Bha. Bha means light. Light means light of knowledge, light of wisdom. So one who revels in wisdom is called Bharata, or Bharati, all of us. We should revel in the wisdom of the Supreme Self. We should let our action and our life be guided by this wisdom of this Self. Then only we can be real Bharatiya. So Bhagwan says, Hey Bharata, Sakta karmani avidvamsah yadha kurvanti kuryad vidvans tatha saktah chikirshul loka sangraham. He says Vidwan, one who has gained self-knowledge, one who has gained that abidance in that self. Such a Vidwan person also should act in this world with a desire for loka sangraha, with a wish for loka sangraha. See, this is just said, but all enlightened person, they do it. Though it is given here as an instruction, as a guidance, as an advice to an enlightened person, but when a person becomes enlightened, the person is wise enough and compassionate enough and loving enough to work for the welfare of this world. See, work doesn't mean that they go and start a big organization or they start something, social service or something like that. No, that is not how enlightened person work. Might work like that, may not work like that. The very presence of an enlightened person, the very what you call just a simple living of that enlightened person, just a simple talking of that enlightened person blesses the whole world, blesses the whole world. The whole world evolves by the blessings of an enlightened person. See, in our recent history of our world, a great master was Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi. Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, right from his childhood, when he was maybe 15 or 16 years of age, he attained that enlightenment. He must have done his sadhana in his past life also, therefore he continued from where he left, and within a short time he regained that enlightenment. He came to realize his own self as that Brahma. Though immediately after that he became totally aloof to the whole world. Bhagwan, when he went to Tiruvannamalai, he used to spend hours together just meditating, not talking to anyone, just being reveling in that Brahma. Not even concerned about his own body. If people is to give him food, he will eat. Otherwise, he will just remain there, totally aloof, reveling in that Supreme. For a long time he did. Then people started coming to him, doing namaskar, asking him questions. And Bhagwan started replying, talking to them, guiding them. Ashram was built around him. He had no interest in ashrams and all, but people started coming and staying near him. So slowly ashram also started coming around. People started staying, meeting him, asking him, and he used to guide. Though he himself needed nothing, but still he continued to guide people and live there and even work in the ashram. He used to cut the vegetables, he used to clean the place and take care of people who used to come and take care of the animals, the birds, and just live there like a simple person, guiding everyone. So, the very presence of an enlightened person, the very presence of Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi in that place was a great blessing to the entire world. He didn't have to go from that place to other places for world tour or going from one place to another. Nothing, not required. Just being at that place, he could bless the entire world. Seekers of liberation from all over the world, many of them came in search of Bhagwan, stayed with him, took guidance from him, got inspired from him, and they progressed on their spiritual path. Not only during Bhagwan's lifetime, but even now. His teachings, is guiding people from all over the world. His presence in that place is felt even now by his devotees and those who come there. Even now Bhagwan's presence is guiding and blessing people. It is said that an enlightened person, when he drops his body, becomes one with Brahma, in the sense now also is Brahma only, but there is no more birth, is one with Brahma. But his name, his teachings remain in the world to continue and to continue to guide the world. His name guides the world, blesses the world, inspires the world. Teaching blesses the world. So, a Mahatma, an enlightened person, Bhagwan says, should also work loka sangraham, to bless the world. This all human beings, however intelligent they might become, however scholarly and educated they might become, from the spiritual standpoint, they are like little children only. They need guidance, they need support. See, like little children, they don't know what to eat, they don't know what to do, they just move around. So, mother is always there, protecting them, teaching them, guiding them. Similarly, to guide the humanity, enlightened person are there. They constantly bless them in their own special way. So Bhagwan says, Kuryad vidvans tatha asaktah. And how to guide people? By themselves following it. In Bhagwan's ashram, constant chanting of the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, and other scriptures, they happen. Constant satsang happen, constant meditation happens, and feeding the poor happens, and so many other seva work happens constantly. So through this work, during Bhagwan's time also, and even now, through that work, Bhagwan guides the ignorant people, that you just do like this. You also do seva. You also learn the scriptures. You also spend time in meditation. You also do some good work for the world. So, sakta karmani avidvamsaha yatha kurvanti. Bhagwan says, just as a avidvamsaha, an ignorant person, works in this world out of ignorance, with lot of attachment. With lot of attachment, an ignorant person works in this world and gets more and more entangled in the work, in the samsara. Bhagwan Krishna guides the wise person. He says, you also work like that person, but free of attachment, and slowly and steadily lead that person in the right path. Don't stop them from working, but change their attitude in their work. Don't tell them that, oh, this work will not give you liberation and all, but let them work and slowly and steadily change their attitude towards work. If they are working selfishly, tell them to work selflessly. If they are working for their own ego and for their own pride and for their own family and all, tell them to work for the sake of Ishvara, as a blessings to Ishvara. So Mahatmas give a field for people to work and to express their gratitude, their love, their devotion towards Ishvara. So many examples are there. So sakta karmani avidvamsaha yatha kurvanti bharata. So just as a avidvamsa, an ignorant person, works in this world with attachment, a Mahatma should also work, but without attachment, guiding people on the right path. You can't just sit at one place and guide, but sometimes one has to work to guide. Sometimes you have to do it yourself to guide. So, in your own special way, work and guide people on the right path. So, kuryad vidvans tatha asaktah, but free of attachment, they also work. So, chikir shul loka sangraham, for loka sangraha. To give simple example, worldly example, at home also, during exams and all, we want children to study, we want them to read, to contemplate, to do their work, to do their study. So during that time when they are preparing for their exams, studying and all, what do parents do? if they are free and they are at home, how should they spend their time? Should they start watching the television and spending their time in that? No. If they also spend their time during that period reading something, contemplating on some scripture, they are reading Bhagavad Gita, they read, they study some text, they write something, they sit quietly, they do, also they help the child to study, give some appropriate food or whatever required for them, give them appropriate conditions so that they can study well. So in this way, if they are in tune with the children, they also do in same way. The children feel very encouraged and they feel very satisfied. The parents themselves don't have to study, but when they study, it encourages the child also to study. So in this way, Bhagavan says that a Vidwan should also work without attachment, guiding people, ignorant people on the right path. So this is very interesting and important. More Bhagavan will tell about how the Vidwan should not create buddhi bhedam. And thereafter, a very important portion wherein he says that the whole work which one sees happens because of Prakriti. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. So more about this we will see in our class tomorrow. Till then, stay safe, stay home, stay happy, peaceful, healthy, do your work, contemplate, meditate, take care of yourself and others, and we will meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Bole Syavar Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.